Hi, everybody. I'm Andi. I'm coming to you from Arizona, and we're going to go through 15 minutes of stretching. So find yourself some floor space, get up, get away from the desk. We're going to take everything out of that seated position, going backwards a little bit, and we will get started. So we're going to start with the usual, just getting our spine warmed up. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in. As we exhale, we're reaching up towards the ceiling as high as you can. Still looking straight ahead though, so that our spine stays neutral. It's like there's a string from the crown of our head going to the ceiling, like we're dangling. As tall as you can. If you're more comfortable with your arms folded, you can do that. If you're more comfortable with your arms on your back, you can do that. But just thinking about getting long from the top of your head. From there, we'll take another deep breath in. And we'll exhale. We're going to come down just halfway, keeping our backs nice and flat, looking at the floor right in front of us. You can have a slight bend to your knees if that makes it feel better on your low back. Right now, we're just kind of warming it up. And as you feel more comfortable, you can straighten them out a little bit. And we're pressing our chest towards the floor, not our head, not our shoulders. Go as far as you're comfortable. We're just going to stay here and breathe through this for a few more seconds. And from there, we're going to go ahead and just let it all collapse forward. Let your weight just pull you to the floor. The crown of your head is now pointed towards the floor. You can just let your arms hang. You can grab your elbows. You can grab your calves, your ankles, shoelaces, toes, floor, whatever you can reach comfortably. Again, you can have slightly bent knees. And if you want to feel more of a stretch in your hamstring, straighten them out a little bit more, but we don't want to lock them out. We don't want to have a perfectly straight leg. And again, just focus on having the crown of your head pointing towards the floor. We're going to take another deep breath before we move. Think about using your glutes like in a deadlift. Squeezing those glutes together. Pull yourself up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Don't give yourself a head rush. Shoulders might be up, so let's push them back to the wall behind us and then back down, like we're tucking our shoulder blades into our back pockets. And we're going to go through this one more time. So again, nice deep breath in. Exhale, reaching up towards the ceiling. Maybe now you feel like you can reach a little bit higher. If you want to take it back a little bit more, you can use your arms to support you. We're going to get a little bit of that hip flexor by pushing those hips forward like we're showing off our belt buckles. So find a position that feels best for you. Sometimes just getting these arms up and overhead is what we really need. And from here, just go ahead, bring it down halfway. And looking at the floor in front of us. Hands can support you. Again, we're only going halfway here, so back is nice and flat. Hands can support you on your upper thigh or your lower underneath your knees. Just don't press on your knee. And let's try to get a little bit lower. So try to press your chest a little bit closer to your legs towards the floor. Looking right down at the floor in front of you. Try to press a little bit more while still maintaining that nice flat back. We'll take one more nice deep breath, and then we'll go ahead and just let it all collapse forward. And maybe now you can reach a little bit further. And the crown of your head is pointed towards the floor. You're looking at your knees. Grab your calves, your ankles, shoelaces, toes, floor, whatever you can reach. And if you want, you can pull yourself a little bit more if that feels comfortable for you. and try to deepen that stretch in the hamstrings. We are going to do a little bit of a different hamstring stretch later. So if right now you just want to focus on relaxing and just letting it all hang, that's totally fine. Whatever feels best for you. We're going to take a couple more deep breaths, and then again, we're going to think about squeezing our glutes. And let's pull ourselves up, again, one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow, no head rush here. Roll those shoulders down and back. And we're back in our standing neutral position. From here, we are going to go back into that half pose, that half forward fold pose, but this time we're going to stick one leg out in front of us. So just resting your heel on the ground and coming down halfway again. Now you should notice a much deeper stretch in your hamstring, a little bit into your glute. If you can bend this knee a little bit lower, getting into almost a single leg squat and pressing your chest forward, you're going to feel that stretch in the back of the hamstring. If that doesn't work for you, sorry, I'm going to roll my chair over. You can put your foot on the seat of your chair and do a hamstring stretch this way as well. Make sure your chair isn't going to roll away. But either way, with the leg that is out, that is the hamstring that is being stretched. You want your toes to be pointed up towards the ceiling. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Same thing. So heels on the ground, toes are pointed up, and we're just going to bend forward. Again, my back is still nice and flat. I'm pressing my chest first towards my knee, and then I'm going to look at the floor right in front of me. Think about trying to push your hips back a little bit too, so you're not just bending straight down, but you're bending back a little bit. Finding that comfortable place, breathing through it. We'll go ahead and stand up out of there. From here, we'll go into a quad stretch. So if you need to use something to balance, you can grab your foot. Once you have your foot, bring your knees together. A lot of people will just hold their foot out and let their leg fall out to the side. But if you pull that leg in, you're going to feel a much deeper stretch down the middle of your quad. And from there, if you want to take it a little bit further too, you can pull straight back. Again, my knees are still in line. I just went straight back with it. This is similar to dancer pose in yoga. And that's going to stretch the hip flexors a little bit too. If that's not working, if you cannot get to your foot today, that's totally fine. Again, you can use your chair, putting your foot on the seat of your chair. And from here, you just push your hips forward. Again, that showing off the belt buckle motion. Push those hips forward. You'll feel that in your hip flexor, and you'll feel that in your quad. So find the position that works best for you. And when you're ready, we will switch sides. If you feel like one side is way tighter than the other, that's fine. If you want to hold it there longer, you do what works for you. Totally normal. We tend to rely on our dominant side to do a lot of our heavy lifting. And depending on what that is, that might actually make the muscle a lot tighter. If your dominant side is what's doing a lot of work too, and other muscles, you might find that you have an easier time moving in because it does go through a full range of motion more often. So it can really go either way. It really just depends on how your body's feeling today. Let's breathe through this for a few more seconds. And for the next one, we're going to do our lats. So I'm going to hold on to the shelf right here. You can use your wall, and I'll show that in a second. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my hands on the top here, get about an arm's distance away. And from here, I'm just going to push my hips back. You can have a bend in the knees. That's fine. We're not working on our hamstrings right now. We're going to work on our lats. So I'm actually going to step a little bit further away. And from there, I'm going to let my head drop so that my ears are between my arms. And I'm consciously pushing my hips away. Like if you had to close a door, if your arms were full and you had to kind of booty bump the door, that's kind of the same motion, but we're going to stay right here and just press that chest forward. And you should be feeling a stretch pretty much all down the side of your body, a little bit into your back. Your lats are a huge muscle that go from your spine actually up into your arm. So you can be feeling it in any of those places. And if you want to take it a little bit further, reach one arm underneath, and you're going to have to really bend the knee. Your hips have to twist a little bit with this. And reach that arm. And now you're going to feel it even deeper through the ribs, a little bit into the hip. If that's too far for you, that's fine. Just stay right here. But if you want to deepen that stretch, again, a little bend in the knee, let the hips twist, reach that arm underneath. Now you can do this with a wall just by holding on to the wall. I don't have a very good angle here for you. So same concept, you'll just have your hands on a wall. Either works. When you're ready, we're going to go through these one more time. And then we're going to end with a little side stretch and twist. So hamstrings are first. Putting that foot out in front of us. Toes are up towards the ceiling. Supporting our weight on our thigh, not on our knee. Pressing that chest down, trying to maintain that nice flat back. Breathing through it. And we can go ahead and switch sides. Again, if you want to use your chair, prop your foot up, your heel on the seat of your chair, have your toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Looking at the floor right in front of you. Pressing that chest down, trying to deepen that stretch a little bit further than last time. Perfect, let's get the quads. So we're gonna go ahead and stand up, grab our foot. If you want to take it back further, you can. But just make sure that that knee stays in. When you're ready, we'll switch sides, same thing. You might even notice that when you go to grab your foot on one side or the other, one side feels a little bit easier to grab the foot. Again, that's normal. That's usually due to different tight muscles in the hips. And our hips tend to get really tight, especially when we're sitting for so long. That's why bringing it back a little bit further, stretching the front of that hip feels really good. We'll go ahead and let that foot down. Let's get our lats one more time. So again, placing those hands flat on top of a surface or flat up against a wall, whichever you have. Back is nice and flat, pushing those hips back. Ears are in between the arms. And then press your chest towards the floor, and maybe you can press a little bit further and your head actually breaks through from between your arms, but not because you let your head drop, but because you're able to push your chest a little bit further, really extending that shoulder. Also, I'm going to add here too, if you want to pedal your legs to get a little bit of a calf stretch, it's kind of a lot to think about. So while you're pressing your chest forward and pressing your hips back, if you straighten one leg, you're going to feel a stretch in your calf. And you can just pedal side to side, keep pushing that hip back. Once you let the hips come up, you're not going to feel it in your calf as much. So keep pressing those hips back. Again, like your booty bumping something. And you can just pedal through, stretch out those calves. You can even lift your toes up a little bit to really deepen that stretch. Stay there as long as you like. If you're ready, let's just do a little side bend, and then we will end in the chair. So we're just going to follow the seam of our pants down, going straight down to the side. You can bring that arm up and over if you'd like. Wherever your hand is resting on your leg, just make sure it's not on your knee. And you can widen your feet. And you might be able to go a little bit lower that way. Before we stand up, I want you to think about glutes and obliques, like you're trying to squeeze your rib to make it touch your hip. That way we don't feel anything in our low back. And let's get the other side, same thing, follow the seam of the pants. Breathing easily, enjoying the movement. Squeezing those obliques, those glutes, pull yourself back up. You can go ahead and grab a seat. We're just going to do a quick little twist. Things you can do at your desk anytime. So I have my left hand on my right knee, and I'm going to twist towards my right. You can let your head and your neck follow. Give you a little bit of a neck stretch. Carefully releasing, and we will switch sides. Nice, easy breathing. Round those shoulders up, back and down. Tuck that chin a little bit so we're not sticking our head out forward. And now you're back in your normal seated position with a good posture. So thank you for joining me today for a stretch break. My name is Andi. I'm at the Tempe site. I will be back live with you next Wednesday at 12 o'clock Central. That's 10 o'clock here in Arizona. And I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.